Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ERSCA Nashville 200 Throwback Race. I am Emily Harlan. Normally, you don't hear me bringing you in, but we are switching things up for the first few minutes of the show tonight. I am joined by David Westergreen, and Dom will be jumping on in a little bit. So, Dave, are you there?
I'm there.
Do I
I'm ready to go.
Perfect. All right. Well, what can we kind of expect from this race tonight, would you say?
Well, I think back to North Wilkesboro a couple of weeks ago. This is a short track, Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. These guys are going to be beating and banging all night. As I recall, Dylan Thomas was the fastest car back at North Wilkesboro. I expect to see the Apex Sim Racing guys of Dylan Thomas and Ryan Lutz up front once again. Chris Wright, though, was really strong in that race as well. I think he's the one who ended up winning at North Wilkesboro. So, you got to watch out for that 69 car. But throughout the field, there are going to be guys running throwback schemes. You're going to be seeing different colors on a lot of guys, like this one right here. This is Damian Leininger running a Carl Edwards throwback from like 2008. We're going to get some great new colors. We're going to get some guys really pushing hard under the lights to try to beat and bang and win this race. And hopefully everyone keeps it clean. We're able to get some laps in, though. I don't want to have too many cautions.
I know, I do enjoy the cautions because I'm able to jump down and get some good reporting back to you guys. But I feel like when we're able to have a very good run and not have a whole lot of cautions, it just makes it a little better for everyone. I'm sure the guys enjoy that too. But you mentioned the throwback and the different schemes that the guys have on their cars. I was seeing some of them on Twitter. I'm super excited to see how they all look on the track tonight, although it's going to be a little bit difficult to figure out who's who, I think. But I'm super excited to see all that, and might have to jump down and ask the guys about some of the schemes and why they chose what they chose
The good news
throughout the race.
is
So
the good news is I know a bunch of the schemes right offhand. I know Ethan Burrell is not running a special throwback scheme tonight, but he doesn't need to. He is the points leader still over Ryan Lutz. It's not a very huge margin, but those are the only two who are really able to kind of get after the points lead at this point in the season. So with that, we'll start off with the starting grid as best I can show it here. I don't think that's going to work. But the starting grid, for what I can tell, is Nick Massey is going to be on the pole, and Ryan Lutz is going to start outside of him in second. That much I know. Beyond that, we're a little limited in what we've got for scoring right now. Yeah, here we go. Ryan Lutz and Nick Massey going to be 1-2. We've got the Elite Racing League on board a little bit tonight. Just bear with us, but as much as I can give, we'll go through the grid a bit. Damian Leininger qualified third, Gerald Campbell fourth. We'll just get the top 10 on this. Here is Colin Fambro fifth, Ethan Burrell starting sixth. The points leader going to try to go from there and catch up with his main rival, who's starting in second. See if that's going to work yet. Nope. Nick Delicato starting in seventh spot. And Dallas Myhan making his first start in the ERSCA Series, starting eighth. I think he's driving with Z Shandura. So a good run early for Dallas. Michael Goodman qualified ninth. That's a strong run for another Apex Sim Racing car. And Thomas Sherman in the top 10. He has had absolutely no luck this season. So with that, there's the cars on the grid, and we'll try to see if we can't get ready for this race. It's going to be, I believe, 200 laps at Nashville. That means these guys could potentially go completely without pitting if a lot of cautions fell, but I imagine they'll need to pit at least once, if not twice, for tires. This track will eat the tires up. It's a short track, half mile, cheese grater of a surface. It'll absolutely rip the tires to shreds. These guys have to be very careful with how they manage that, and then because it's a short track, you're going to see some beating and banging, some guys bouncing off each other. It's going to be a wild night. Nick Massey on the pole in his Jimmy Johnson throwback, and Ryan Lutz in his Danica Patrick throwback. Don't be fooled by Lutz using the seemingly GoDaddy style of Mark Martin from the 2010s. No, that's 100% Danica Patrick.
I love that. And we're also wanting to welcome in Dom. Dom, how are you doing tonight? there?
Oh, I didn't hear him.
I didn't hear him either. I see him.
All right.
I see him, but we can't hear him. But we'll check back in and see if he can jump on soon. So let's do some picks, David. Who do you think is going to take this one tonight, or who should we maybe watch out for tonight?
Ryan Lutz told me to pick him, but I gotta stay away. I'm gonna go with his teammate Dylan Thomas. If Dylan's in the race, actually, if he may not be. Oh no, here he is. He's starting 20th, so he'll have to make up track position. But my pick might be this Dylan Thomas 03. I might regret that one, but we'll see.
I think that's a good pick. Like you said, he last race or the one before he was up there. He's been one of the faster cars that we've seen. Seems like he's wanting to get in the win column. So I think that's a pretty good guess.
You guys got me now?
There's Dom.
Hi, yes.
There we go.
There you are. Who are you going with tonight, Dom?
Oh, geez. Emily, who'd you take?
I have not picked yet.
Okay.
I haven't
David,
picked.
who'd you take?
Dylan Thomas.
All right, I'm gonna stick with my pick. I've picked him for the last couple weeks. So I'm gonna go Nick Massey again, especially since he's starting on pole.
All right.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good pick. I am going to go with Scott Crump.
All right. Scott running.
I don't know why.
Scott running 13th right here, just hanging out outside the back end of the top 10. Ooh, as we get Jared Mogard sideways. Almost lost the 0-0 there. Everyone makes it out okay. Try to get a little wider shot here of everyone, and I'm running productions tonight. That's Josh Adams in the 95 running that kind of silver and orange car that got into Jared Mogard there, and Chris Wright in this 69. Already a little bit of damage. But this Jerry Nadeau throwback, one of my favorite schemes in the race. I love this car. This is a great tribute to Hendrick Motorsports' number 25. And these guys have run 6 laps fairly clean. So pretty proud of the guys so far. Everyone really keeping their P's and Q's in order.
Yeah, we'll see. I have to see how long that lasts. 200 laps is a long way to go. Temper's probably going to fly at some point here tonight.
I think absolutely. And 4-car breakaway at the front. It's Nick Massey, Ryan Lutz, Damian Leininger, and Ethan Burrell have just kind of driven away from Gerald Campbell in 5th, and everyone else kind of fighting in on back. Colin Fambro back here in 6th spot, right behind Gerald. And then the battle is for 7th here between Nick Delicato and last week's winner, Tate Lytle. Or not last week's winner, 2 weeks ago's winner. Tate did not win the All-Star race. That would have been taken by Ryan Lutz. Michael Goodman now jumping underneath Nick Delicato here for the 8th spot, and good speed out of the 73 car early.
That Indelicato car is a Mark Martin throwback, right?
Well, it's either Mark Martin or Joe Nemechek, the U.S. Army 01 car. And Delicato's throwing back to, and love it. It's another great one. He's made the logos kind of his own, and Emily's pick, Scott Crump, moves up past my hand. Little bit of contact between Brandon Key and my hand too. Crump was sporting that mellow yellow throwback from a couple of weeks ago, but it seems to be fast. It's working for him, so he's sticking with it through the throwback week. Then there's Dallas Myhand there, and Crump sideways.
He got really loose there, looking underneath Indelicato, and he's going to lose quite a few spots trying to get back up to speed.
This might be an incident here. Everyone stacks up. Key on the apron. They save it, and everyone stays clean for now. Great job by the group of drivers here. James Heater, one of our kind of, I think, 3rd in points, one of the most consistent drivers this season. Brandon Key doing a good job in the Harry Gant throwback car. Got a bunch of our picks here. Crump and
still battling
and
there.
Thomas.
There's Heater and Key still going at it for the 13th and 14th spots.
Good battle here, and that 38 car is Jeff Green, in a throwback to Jeff Green when he ran the 66 Best Buy car. I love that. Jeff Green threw back to himself. What a great way to do it for the 2000 Busch Series champion. battle is back here, guys. Everyone up front, single file through the Scott Crump machine. It is a bit of a crazy hornet's nest back here. That's why we got the camera back on this action.
Yeah, it looks like everybody kind of, as David said, settled out, but Dylan Thomas on this top side kind of stuck up there.
Love that Brandon Scott Oreo throwback to Dale Jr. in his Busch Series car. And then you've got Matthew Weeks rolling up with the Jeff Burton X-Side throwback car. Everyone putting down a really good effort tonight. Checking out Johnny Thomas running the yellow, yet Manscaped car. This one was, I think, Chip Ganassi's development car for Johnny Sauter and Jimmy McMurray in the early 2000s. Ran for Yellow Transportation. What a great throwback by Johnny. Battle is up here, though. Brandon Key and Chris Wright still side by side. They have been side by side much of the evening. Wonder if a lot of that damage on the 69 is hurting it. Seems like he has got the most damage of anyone in this group. Key goes after my hand on the inside. And that's the thing about the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, guys, is that when you get down on the bottom like Brandon Key is right now, the outside lane is able to hold a run, and it holds a run similar to kind of North Wilkesboro where you can battle on the outside. You don't want to be there. That middle groove in turn one, though, that's the preferred line. Where Chris Wright's running, that's where you want to be running if you are running clean laps by yourself, as Jeff Green just about spun out exiting turn two. This track is very treacherous. Good battle all around the track, but right now it's all Nick Massey. 48 car way out in front over Ryan Lutz and Damian Leininger.
Yeah, we've been waiting for him to kind of break through and have that dominating performance. We thought it was going to be in the All-Star race last weekend. Well, might be right here at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
And one question I have is are the Ryan Lutz and Damian Leininger cars holding back a little bit, saving their tires? That's absolutely a strategy to play. These guys can definitely do that. They can kind of wind them up and keep them cool down there.
Well, we know that Damian Leininger definitely likes to do that and kind of save his tires for the longer run. So it'll be interesting to see.
Leininger showing that good speed. He has been maybe the second most snake-bitten driver in the series this season, I would say, to the Thomas Sherman car. Leininger just tends to get involved in so many accidents and often not of his own making. Just wrong place, wrong time. When he has good track position, something happens to end up sending him to the back. He's deep in the points without much hope of making it, back up to the front for the chase. But Damian just needs to rattle off a bunch of good finishes in a row as we have our first caution of the day. Oh, and there it is. It's Dallas Myhand in the 09 car.
Rough start here after a few good opening laps for Myhand as he puts it in the outside wall here in that 09 car.
Let's go take a look back and see what happened here to Dallas Myhand. The 09 looks like a little bit of an incident entering turn one. He and Jeff Green
got a little help.
together.
A little help from Green there, and there's overcorrects. Actually didn't even hit the wall, just kept it off of it. Good job there.
He is going to go a lap down, though, so unfortunate for Dallas Myhand. We'll thank our sponsors each time we roll to a rewind section here. I'll try to get a different view for us of what happened to Dallas Myhand going into turn one as we get ready for pit stops. I think everybody's heading to pit road right now. Looks like Jeff maybe just got a little bit in there, a little bit hot, and bounced off of the 09. Ethan Burrell has stayed out to take the lead. The cars that came to pit road included Nick Massey, Ryan Lutz, and Damian Leininger. But the first 21 cars on track have stayed out. So right now, Ethan Burrell leads Gerald Campbell, Nick Massey, Colin Fambro, and then Tate Lytle. In fact, Massey and Lutz both there on that results sheet have already pitted. So Lytle is 4th, Goodman 5th, Sherman 6th. Let's see if when they hit the start-finish line there, we get the results updated once again. But this is a big for Ethan Burrell. He goes ahead, picks up the lap-led bonus points. He also picks up the track position and some of his biggest competitors, especially for the championship, but mainly in this race, are all now mired in the pack and at risk of getting involved in whatever incidents may befall the middle of the pack.
Yeah, and we've seen it before. You know, usually it's during green flag stretches where new tires can cause accidents, but that's the risk you take, pitting and putting yourself to the back there, is you could have some damage or get caught up in something.
I think Ryan Lutz and Nick Massey and Damian Leininger all thought that that everyone else was going to come into the pits around them there, and everyone behind them stayed out all the way back to Matthew Bayuk in 20th. So these guys are going to eat up all these cars on older tires, but it's if anything happens in front of them, I mean, that's going to stack them up and potentially be very detrimental to 3 of the fastest cars today. And so early in this race, I just don't know that I would have left the comfort of the lead.
Yeah, I don't think 25 lap difference in lap tires are really going to help you out too much here. And like David's saying, probably actually puts you at a bigger risk than reward.
The tires will help. These guys are going to carve through the field. The problem is if they get involved in any incidents whatsoever, these cars are going to be regretting that they came down pit road. And I think we're certain to be at risk for some incidents. But pace cars' lights are off. We're getting ready to go back green flag racing. You can see the bright green and bright blue cars way in the back of the field. Massey 21st, Lutz 22nd. Ethan Burrell, though, is out in front, and he'll get to restart right now. There he goes.
Choosing the top line. He'll pull the advantage over Campbell. Tate Lytle going to go with him on the outside, try to pick up that second spot.
Battle is for second there. Big snarling pack behind him. And you can see that's the exact thing I was worried about when it comes to Ryan Lutz and them climbing their way through. Burrell out to a nice, comfortable lead. Now we can kind of look back into this pack and see how the progress of Ryan Lutz is going to be happening. He's way ahead of Nick Massey already. 4 or 5 cars between himself and Massey. You see Massey's trapped in behind Richard Hines.
Yeah, Lutz has some trouble now, though, too. They're finally going to get single file in front of him. Maybe he can now make some ground up on some of the cars, but he was stuck there in a 2-wide battle, and he'll look underneath Josh Clark here for the 17th or 16th position.
Yep, and anything can happen around him here. Matthew Weeks and James Heater side by side. That's the first side-by-side battle in the field. Weeks and Heater running 11th and 12th. Looks like Weeks will back off, let Heater have that spot for now. Josh Adams and the Darrell Waltrip car kind of in behind them. Up closer to the front, Scott Crump and Michael Goodman were on each other's bumpers there. Goodman really pressuring Crump. 73 car looks pretty stout. And now, though, Jared Mogard comes after him on the inside lane. That car was almost spun around backwards early in this one. He's managed to recover up to 8th spot.
Mogard having another good run here early on.
One of our big points guys. Mogard was locked into the All-Star race and by points, and he's been strong all year. Loose out of that corner, though, and Delicato checks up right in front of Thomas. That was risky. Everyone okay, though?
Mogard also took a 3rd last week in the All-Star race. He was up there contending for the win.
Ryan Lutz is only 17th. Look at this pack in front of him, and just with being held up by the likes of Brandon Scott and Brandon Key, Damian Leininger has climbed right to his teammate's back bumper there, and Nick Massey is not far behind. So all that advantage Lutz gained by getting a better restart, that's all gone. Someone's bounced off the wall there.
I've been keeping an eye on Lutz. just watching him try to come through, and he has not made progress. He'll finally get under Scott here for another spot, but Leininger going to go right with him.
Battle for the lead up front. Gerald Campbell, Ethan Burrell kind of trying to enjoy, or Ethan trying to ride a little bit. Gerald putting some pressure on him.
Campbell fell back a little bit, able to close the gap in, and now try to really take over the race lead, give us our third different leader, but he bounces it off the wall there down the backstretch.
I don't think that'll damage Gerald too much, but that might put a dent in his ability to take the lead from Ethan Burrell right now. So we'll go ahead and jump back into this big pack of cars where the fast cars on fresh tires are just kind of on the inside. They're shuffling one after another to the top and moving on up. Ryan Lutz now into 12th, I believe, going around Josh Adams.
Yeah, and here will come Leininger right after him for the 13th position under Adams. They're just following each other in line as they weave their way through the pack and try to make their way back up to the front.
And James Heater now, the next victim for Ryan Lutz and Damian Leininger. They're coming up on their team cars there. Dylan Thomas and Michael Goodman both stayed out. Wonder if those two don't end up regretting that later on. You can see how much of an advantage Lutz has. He's just so wrapped up in the traffic. He's unable to really put that to his best use.
Yeah, and Mogard and Thomas side by side in front of him now, going to slow him up and hold him up just a little bit more.
Gerald Campbell still sideways, really driving the 31 car hard. Thomas Sherman, Colin Fambro battling it out for 4th as well. But really, I mean, the movers are Ryan Lutz and Damian Leininger. They are up to 10th and 11th, respectively, after restarting way in the back.
Yeah, and on the other side of the spectrum, Nick Massey's still stuck in the 14th position, or 17th position behind Jeff Green and really not going anywhere.
He has not been able to make it up ground like Ryan Lutz and Damian Leininger have. That 48 car was on rails earlier in the race, pulling away, in fact, I think, from both the 36 and the 12. Now he's just kind of stuck battling it out when Leininger and Lutz are able to make moves rolling through the field. There goes Leininger on teammate Dylan Thomas. And it's starting to spread out for Leininger and Lutz now, and I think the tires may be also starting to equalize a little bit as Sherman battles with Fambro still. We've seen that one go side by side a couple of times. All this behind points leader Ethan Burrell.
And David, I wonder if Massey was maybe, I don't know, saving tires there for a few laps, because now he started to mount the charge. He's up to the 13th or 14th spot, looking at the 13th spot now under Mogard.
Massey might also have been like anticipating a caution a little bit, playing it a little bit safer than maybe Ryan Lutz and Damian Leininger are. Those are the only three that are really climbing through the field with fresh tires, other than this 69 car of Chris Wright right here. That car seems to be shooting through the field. He has fixed the damage on the nose of that machine, and it looks a lot better as we're coming up on the quarter mark in this 200-lap race.
Yeah, about to put lap number 50 on the board here. About a lap and a half, and Ethan Burrell done a good job. Just a little bit over half a second lead over Campbell. That's about another second back to Lytle in the 3rd position.
Another spot for Lutz and Leininger. These two charging through the field, looking very strong on those fresh tires.
Yeah, as we approach the quarter mark, they'll already have 25 laps on their new set of tires.
All right, and then you have to wonder if the entire field comes in around them, do they just go ahead and come in on that next caution? Another one's coming. Or do they stay out and try to protect this track position? Michael Goodman quickly falling back. Wonder if he maybe wore the good off of the 73 car. Back to 12th after being up in 7th earlier.
Yeah, and right in front of him, Nick Massey looking to come into the top 10 now. He's definitely on the move.
Goodman running a John Andretti scheme as caution waves.
There you go, David. You called it.
Yep, it's definitely a thing, and I think it might be the Brandon Scott, number 99. He's going to go a lap down to the leaders. That's usually the case at these short tracks. When someone loops it, very difficult to keep it on the lead lap, unless they're, we're on a restart and the caution waves early. But Scott will end up a lap down. We'll have to check and see if he has any damage and what happened to the 99 car. I'll go and find that. Ooh, man, Chuck Sweeting is involved in this, and that is a pretty big crash. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Let's see what it looks like entering, and you see Scott loses it sideways, and he's going to collect Chuck. And Chuck's car gets hung in the fence and then goes flipping. Big Rick for poor Chuck Sweeting.
So David, pit road update. Lutz and Leininger did come down. However, Nick Massey stayed out.
Right. So Massey, you know, the race leader once again, and he'll be flanked by Josh Adams, Chris Wright, and some of these other guys that went and took tires. Johnny Thomas, Jordan Owens, now running in the top 5. Marshall Stanley's going to be in 6th. And then off pit road, it'll be Ethan Burrell and the like of those drivers that were already there.
David, I don't know if you know this or not. I'm sure Johnny would have known, but do we know how many tire sets they have tonight?
I think Johnny tends to go a little more over on the tire sets, tries to keep there to be less of a limit. So I think Lutz and Leininger are trying to get tires every time they can. I think that's probably what they're going to go for. Maybe Emily can jump down into one of the driver chats and maybe ask Johnny Thomas how many tire sets we have and what his plan is from P4. Just looking through the field there at the rest of these guys. I mean, you know, Cameron Rich got involved in that, and he's still sitting on pit road trying to fix damage. I wonder if that car maybe got some additional damage from the wreck when he kind of phased through Chuck Sweeting and sent him flipping. Doesn't look too bad, though, for our 2-time winner, including our Bristol winner. One to go here as Nick Massey will lead him to the green, and the tires will be coming from P7. Ethan Burrell is the first car on fresh rubber, and everyone he's running with is now equaled up with the Ryan Lutzes of the world, but everyone behind P6 is on fresh tires. Everyone in front of them has stayed out.
Oh, it'll probably be a faster march to the front here. Burrell coming from the 7th position, where Lutz and Leininger had to come from outside the top 15.
Sorry about that. Marshall Stanley, I think, spun the tires a little bit. He and Jordan Owens stack them up a little, and that's going to cost some people. Ethan Burrell goes sideways.
Burrell got hit from behind, too, so that 37 car did have some damage. Don't know. Obviously, caution not coming out, but trouble for the 37 car Burrell.
Let's go right back to it there. I think Ryan Lutz was the car behind Burrell. No, it was his teammate Tate Lytle. Right behind Ethan Burrell, and this is on the restart there. You can see just how tight it was up there for 6th, and Burrell trying to find a way around Jordan Owens. And just right there, that's coming off the wall. I think it was Scott Crump who got into Burrell. Ryan Lutz has some damage. Gerald Campbell now the top car with tires. He's in 4th after all of that. Let's see, Lutz is now behind Damian Leininger. A lot of damage for the 36 car.
Yeah, nose completely gone off of that car.
Oh, if there's it's Colin Fambro sideways. So he's gonna wreck it. Marshall Stanley in the wall. Fambro in the wall. Caution's out, and that will let us kind of catch our breath. Maybe we'll again try to send Emily down to the pits and see if how much damage Ryan Lutz has. Man, oh man, what a crazy restart that was. As Lutz is going to have huge damage, Burrell's going to have huge damage, and Fambro now has huge damage.
Well, and Dylan Thomas is going to have some nose damage as well, because as Fambro was trying to save it, he's the one that gave him a little extra bump and sent him into the outside wall.
Let's take a look at the replay here. 1 lap, I believe, right there. Nick and Delicato is going to get into Colin Fambro on this one. Right there, just bounced off of him, and then Fambro saves it, and yep, damage for both the 25 of Stanley and the 03 of Thomas.
Guys, also wanted to let you know that I did talk to Johnny, and he said there's 4 total in the pits for tire sets.
4 total tires. Oof, man. So a lot of those guys have used up 2 already. That is going to limit things quite a bit.
Yeah, we're not even close to halfway yet. And you look at Burrell and Lutz and Leininger, they've already used 2 sets, so 2 to go in the last 140 laps.
Yeah. Burrell did not come down pit road. I'm a little surprised he didn't try to come get the damage fixed. He's even blinking a little bit there, and he's going to be okay. We've seen Ethan Burrell climb out of holes much deeper than this one. But, you know, and he also fortunate that Ryan Lutz got involved in the same incident and got heavy damage. I think that may help out Ethan Burrell in his recovery attempt. A lot of cars getting damage in that kind of stack up exiting turn 4. When you have the tire strategies just that wacky from each other and off sequence, it can really stack up the field and create incidents like that. I think that maybe the cleanest of those top cars is Damian Leininger from 9th. 12 car looks okay.
Well, and that's the point that you made probably about 30 laps ago, David, is when you get those fresh tires after a caution like that, you put yourself in a position. And that's exactly what happened to some of our top cars here tonight.
It's just Colin Fambro letting the field pass him by. He is a lap down. Dallas Mahan, after that early spin, got his lap back on that caution. So only 3 cars, 1 lap down. Only Chuck Sweeting and Richard Lafferty out of the race. A lot of positions to be gained and lost through the rest of this one. It's still everyone chasing Nick Massey, though. Josh Adams did maintain 2nd on that restart. Gerald Campbell has the freshest tires of anyone in the top 5. He is 4th. Nick Indelicato has a similar amount, and he is 6th. Green flag back out once again here as Nick Massey gets another good restart. The field fans behind.
How about Johnny Thomas having his best run of the season so far, looking to the inside of Adams here for the 2nd spot?
If Johnny was trying to decide if he wanted to come announce tonight, we were short a producer, and we told him, no, Johnny, go race. You got this, man. And look at him putting down a great run in that number 83 car. Gerald Campbell does have those fresh tires, and he's going to roar by on the outside.
I don't know, David. The way he filled in the booth last week, his future might be more in the broadcast booth than on the racetrack, unless he gets it rolling here a little bit this season. He's had a tough season so far.
It is tough. This is a very competitive series. You know, I run in the sister series in Elite Racing. I run with a lot of these guys, and you know, only a couple of those guys are nearly, are nearly as competitive in this series. A lot of them are, and we got a lot of stack up there. I mean, we've seen Tate Lytle and Ethan Burrell win some races, but I mean, you've got guys like Nick Indelicato and Dylan Thomas and some of these other guys that are just really fast, that don't really run elite nearly as much. And it's just very difficult here. The level of competition is just so high. Johnny does a great job. He runs everything super well. And in terms of competing, he's usually right up there. But, man, you can see just how tough of a time he's having this season with his point total not nearly as high as he would want it to be. Battle's about to be for the lead.
Yeah, Campbell has reached.
Caution's out. It's going to be Jeff
door.
Green. Big crash on the back, and ooh. That's Ethan Burrell, our points leader.
Burrell involved again.
Might be okay. I don't see any nose damage on the 37 car. Andy's going to stay on the lead lap. Oh, man, this has been a chaotic race. Go back quickly and try to see what happened to Ethan Burrell. Up high running with Joe Francis, who's got a Jeff Gordon scheme, and in the checkup, looks like Cameron Rich ran over the back of Ethan Burrell. Gonna go try to grab Jeff Green here and see what happened to him. Michael Goodman bounced off of him there. Just kind of the same thing we've seen exiting the corner. One more replay, I think we'll go from the front bumper of Matthew Weeks here and try to see what he saw from the cockpit. Woo! Amazing job avoiding that wreck by Matthew Weeks, and that has taken us to lap 73. This wreck will take us all the way past lap 75 of 200. These guys have already bolted on 2 of their 4 sets of tires. It's a long way to go in this race.
Yeah, it might come down to tire strategy, and you almost got to leave one set for late in the race in case there's that late race caution. But looks like everyone, Massey and Campbell, have stayed out once again here on this one. I think they've only used 1 set, or Campbell's used 2, right?
Yep, Campbell's used 2. Massey has just pitted the 1 time. Josh Adams has not pitted at all in the 95 car. He is on 74 lap-old tires in 3rd place. Chris Wright has pitted twice, though I think he's only taken tires 1 time. He's also on older tires. Everyone else has pitted. Johnny Thomas just came for a new set. Jordan Owens came for a new set that time. A lot of those guys that were back involved in that wreck came down pit road. Only 2 cars. Brandon Scott got his lap back, and you always got to keep track of the comeback stories at a short track like this. We've seen a bunch of guys spin out. Everybody who gets their lap back, and you never know, they're going to be up in the top 10 before you know it.
Let me tell you, it is a top 5 of Chevy Camaros between Massey, Campbell, Wright, Adams, and Indelicato, even in 6th. Dylan Thomas, all driving those Chevy cars.
Yep. Chevy contingent at the front. Ryan Lutz back there in 7th or 8th as well, running a Chevy. And Massey stacks him up a little more this time. Waited, but now he goes, and he's got Chris Wright right with him this time. So they're going to try to keep Gerald Campbell and his newer tires at bay. They did it successfully earlier tonight at Phoenix in the Elite Racing race. Nick Massey won that one, so he is on a hot streak tonight.
On his back out front, it seems like this 48 car likes that clean air. See how long he can hold on to it, though. As Campbell actually got a bad restart. He's moving backwards into the
Crump
3rd
around.
position.
Thomas Sherman bounces it off the inside wall, trying to get to Crump. Crump gets hammered by Joe Francis. Where's Ethan Burrell? Ethan stops.
Hey.
Don't know if he got any damage. Another near miss or involvement for poor Ethan Burrell. And Scott Crump up in black smoke.
Yeah, I think his night's done. That car pretty well toast. If it wasn't done already, I think Francis might have finished it off there with that hit late in that caution.
Oh, man. What a horrible break for Scott Crump there. It seems like it had been a harmless spin off of turn 2, just like that Emily's pick to the garage.
Yes, I'm very sad about that. Obviously, I'm sad for Scott too. And I feel like anytime I jump down to talk to anyone and come back up, there's another caution, and I like miss everything that happens. So, but I did chat with Mike Goodman briefly about the previous caution that we had. He said he just got a little bit of contact, but I completely missed what happened right here. I was jumping back in.
Well, we got Scott Crump on the outside with Tate Lytle, and he bounced off of him and spins it out. Looks like everyone did a good job missing it, and then I think Joe Francis right there is going to clobber him, and it takes out Jeff Green. So what I want to do now is go on board with Ethan Burrell through this incident, rather, and let's see what whether Ethan got any involvement. So Ethan Burrell here through 1 and 2, or this is 3 and 4. So you'll see the smoke as soon as he exits 1 and 2. Let's see what Ethan decides to do here. Smoke. Slow, slow, slow. They're crashing, they're crashing. Little bump to the nose of the 37 car. And it just closed up so quickly. Yep, definitely damage now on the nose of the Ethan Burrell car, and there's scrapes all over this thing.
It's definitely took a beating here tonight, but I mean that seems like to be the story the last couple weeks for the 37 team.
He's been able to overcome it just about every time. You know, it seems like he can't keep flirting with disaster, but if you prove you can make it happen anyway. Which, I mean, in a crazy race like this, I think, you know, Ethan might even want to stay further off the back of the field and hope that we get a couple more of these big cautions where someone like Scott Crump ends up a couple laps down. We're quickly losing cars off the lead lap. You know, we've seen Jordan Owens fall by the wayside and have some trouble, and Harrison Talon too, and Marshall Stanley in that last wreck. A lot of guys are going to be falling off, having issues. I think we're coming back. We're going to come to the green here this next time by. Nick Massey will send him off once again. Quick check on the race summary here, and 5 cautions already in the first 100 laps. On pace for a solid double-digit number.
How are your picks doing, guys? Who'd you choose? Dave, you chose Dylan. He's in 6th, it looks like.
Yeah, I have Dylan Thomas. He's right up here in 6th spot. We'll see if he's got anything for it. Gerald bounces it off of Chris Wright, and Gerald's in the wall. I couldn't catch him as he fell down the running order. Big crash down the back. Is that Ethan again? Nope, Zishan. Oh, and Crump's still involved in another one. Gerald Campbell from 2nd spot. Just crashed it. I think Ethan finally got through one.
Let's hope so.
Good grief. This race has gone absolutely bananas. In the last couple of restarts, these guys really starting to push hard like it's almost over when really we're not even halfway yet.
They want those halfway points.
And halfway points are good, but I'd rather have the final points as Gerald bounces it off the inside wall and just nowhere to go. You see Zishan go shooting out of the pack.
Josh Clark did a pretty good job of avoiding Campbell there when he spun back in.
Let's go watch on board with Josh Clark, and then I want to take us with Ethan. And we've been riding with Ethan through all of these wrecks, trying to follow his progress through the field. Let's see if we can get it again. Here's Josh on the bottom. Watch him see the Gerald car come back to his outside. Ooh, my. And then on board with Ethan Burrell through the mayhem. Yeah, this time, fortunately, Ethan ahead of all the Zishan's right there. I mean, Zishan goes pounding into him, and whew.
You might be right, David. Ethan might be safer just to kind of fall back and try to avoid getting caught up in the middle of all this stuff again.
He's the story because he's the highest points running driver. He's our points leader, just constantly caught up in traffic and into these incidents. You know, we've got a bunch of guys up here. I mean, the top group hasn't even really changed since they stayed out earlier in the race. Nick Massey, Chris Wright, they've been 1-2 for a while. They were being hounded by Gerald Campbell for a little bit. Now it's Nick and Delicato and Dylan Thomas. Ryan Lutz is right here in 7th, but since he's gotten damage on that car, has not moved forward nearly the same as it did before. Damian Leininger sitting in 8th. He's had a good run, but again, just hasn't been able to claw his way back to the front. And I think he's got maybe a little damage to the 12 car, though it's not too bad. Not nearly as bad as Lutz's looks. Josh Adams still has not pitted the 95 for tires. He has maintained 5th place track position despite not ever getting new tires.
It's pretty impressive, but definitely helped out by the fact of quite a few cautions here in the last few laps.
Yeah, 6 cautions, I think 3 of them in literally the last 20 laps. So we got to get this race a little bit more green here, guys.
Well, that's still nowhere close to, was it North Wilkesboro, where we had like 20-some cautions?
Yeah, we're on pace to get up near there, though. We're heading that way quickly. We got to see if we can get them to get them nice and green. Green flag out again, and there goes Massey. Not a good start for Wright, and then Delicato is going to slide into second. He was very nearly the winner of the All-Star race last week, as another caution is out. Oh, man, I don't even know what happened here. I'm going to go hunting for the replay on this one, but oh, it was Matthew Bayuk, it looks like. Found it quickly right there. James Heater, Matthew Bayuk. Heater involved in maybe the first incident I've seen him involved in all season.
And Bayuk running the old Kevin Harvick throwback.
Yeah, love that car. 2007, I believe, for the Harvick. Might have run it for a little longer. And I was wondering why it seemed like Heater almost spun Bayuk. Let's take a look again. Bayuk cuts in front of Heater, and Heater did not like that. Man.
Just drove through him in the corner, really.
I wonder if there's something else we haven't seen regarding that. Let's go on board with Heater if we can and take a look at what Heater saw. I didn't see any reason to go in there like that. Yeah, Bayou cuts him off, but I mean, it looks like Heater just drove right through him.
You think maybe this is stemming from something maybe a few weeks ago, and that was just the final straw? Heater just had enough and took it out?
Man, I don't know, man. We might need to send Emily for that one. I don't know. Emily, you got anything for us? I mean, I know you've been bouncing back and forth. I don't have my Discord notifications on. I can't hear you come back. So if you've got anything, let me know. Chime in anytime. Heck, she might already be down there. I can't even.
No, she took off. I think she already took off. So
she's on it today. She's doing a great job for us, and we'll have to. I'm doing my best to keep up with everything. I'm running the cameras tonight, so if it's a little different, I'm sorry, but we're doing our best. Hopefully, it's all right for everyone. Sounds okay, and the picture is good. I can't keep up with the voice chat. I just got too many screens going on all at once today, and it's been a bit of a crazy race. Haven't been able to go sit back and pull something up on my phone.
All right, she's back now, David. We can send it down to her and see if she picked up anything this time.
All right, what you got for us, Emily?
Yeah, I did. So I jumped down to the shift guys, talked to Matthew. He said that I believe it was Heater who crashed into him, apologized right away, and he said it seems like on the restarts, he said the top line seemed like the best spot to be, so that's where he was trying to go to make up ground, and got into a little action there. And he said, but as far as damage goes, I mean, it's like pretty much everyone has some damage on their car right now, so he's not too worried about it. And asked him also a little bit about his throwback scheme, and he said he and Nick kind of had the perfect numbers to do that throwback, which was the 2007 Daytona 500 throwback, I believe.
Oh, that's
what I got from him.
See, this is why we need Emily. I didn't even put that together. They are teammates, and they totally did it. The 2007 Daytona 500 finish between Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick. What an awesome throwback for those guys. And Delicato's running the 01 really well, right up there in second spot where Mark finished that race. Hopefully he can get it one spot better than Mark did in that actual race.
Yeah, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together either there. That's awesome.
Some important, race strategy news is that Josh Adams has, for the first time this race, pitted, and it looks like it has not worked out for him. He does not like those fresh tires, and I wonder if Josh is maybe falling back here trying to avoid any potential incidents. He does have fresh rubber.
He's pulling the Daytona strategy here at a short track.
It's funny because it's totally doable. There you go. Someone blew up. I can't tell who it was. What am I, Damien? Jordan Owens is on pit road. I am all out of sorts. Damien's back to 12th. He was not 12th a couple of laps ago. Kyle Hanshaw all over him. We haven't mentioned his name all day. That car actually looks pretty clean.
Yeah, I got a little contact in the bumper, but who doesn't at this point?
You
We
know,
approach. Go ahead, David. What was that?
I thought it was actually Zishan who blew up. Might not have been. Maybe Damien got pushed sideways, and that's what caused it. Because he also lost 6 positions. It must have been it. Sorry, Dom. Go ahead. What you were saying.
We're about to reach the halfway point here, so Nick Massey going to lead us back to the finish line in the top 10. Going to pick up some halfway points here in this one.
There's your top 10 at halfway. So remember, first gets 10 points. On down through 10th gets 1 point. That's big for the point standings. Ryan Lutz picks up on his championship rival Ethan Burrell, who is currently 22nd. So Lutz running 6th there in the green car. He's been there pretty much all night long since he got into Ethan Burrell and got a bunch of damage. And it wasn't like he ran over Ethan Burrell. They were bouncing off of people, and you know, Lutz got it checked up. But he's got damage. Ethan's had some damage, and both of them have been involved in several incidents tonight. It's made winning very difficult for either of them. Nick Massey's been the one who's had the right strategy.
He's just stayed out and played the race position game since about the second or third caution, and it's paid off right now. He has, last time he pitted was almost
77 laps ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say closing in on 100 laps ago. So been out there for a while, but he's gonna have some fresh shots, and we'll see if he can use that to his advantage here later on.
The battle is here for third. Chris Wright on 76 lap old tires, fending off Tate Lytle and Dylan Thomas, both of them on 50 lap old tires. The newest tires in the field are those of James Heater, Matthew Bayou, Gerald Campbell, and the highest running of those is Heater in 18th, not really making up too much ground. Looks like Wright's kind of holding everyone up back here, though. Lytle goes for 4th.
Yeah, I'm trying to work around the 69 car of Wright, and now that's going to give Wright maybe a little bit of opportunity to check out just a little bit, but it looks like Lytle's got the pass for 4th, and now we'll go after Wright for the 3rd spot.
Ryan Lutz lets his teammate back in so as not to freight train him there, and with all these guys lined up right on their back bumpers, Dylan Thomas was about to go heading to the back. Lutz fending off Jared Mogard to try to avoid that same fate. Right now, you don't want to get trapped up in that outside lane. You may just go backwards and find yourself outside the top 10.
Well, Mogard got a little bit of a shove there from Sherman back in the 8th position. Someone that's climbed into the top 10 that we haven't really mentioned yet tonight is Matthew Weeks, riding right back there in the 9th spot.
Car absolutely beautiful by Matthew Weeks. And he and Damian Leininger running right next to each other as Mogard tries again to get under Lutz, and again Lutz holds him off. A lot of battling here amongst this pack. Chris Wright really stacking him up and creating these battles. Lytle still, though, unable to get around the 69 car. You might give him a shove here before too long.
Yeah, I was going to say the bump and run might be coming here in the next few laps. Lytle knows he's got to get around him and get going.
This car just went sideways and lost a bunch of spots. Matthew Bayuk did. Not sure what would have happened there. Quick replay. Maybe not. Someone blew up back there. I think it's Jordan Owens. As this is a quick checkup also on our championship leader, Ethan Burrell. It was Gerald Campbell who blew a motor. Campbell now on pit road with the hood up. Tough break for Gerald. He's high up in the points.
Hey. Oh, it's Zishan. I thought that was Ethan that was on pit
know.
road. Zishan Dura going down another lap as Nick Massey makes his way around.
Massey has pulled out to a massive lead over Nick and Delicato. I thought Indelicato might have had something for Nick Massey, but man, this 48 car is on rails tonight. Really kind of throwing back to his the paint scheme's namesake of Jimmy Johnson. He has been very strong tonight.
Well, and this is the best thing that could happen for Nick Massey right now. He likes these long stretches. Here comes Lytle underneath Weeks for the 3rd spot.
And finally, Tate Lytle getting that nose up underneath the Jerry Nadeau style throwback for Chris Wright. Unable to get around. Wright very strong exiting the corners. That's all he's really able to do. I think he's backing it up just enough to make the tire wear not really matter. It also helps that the cars he's racing still have 60 laps on their tires. Even though they are newer, they're still not new. James Heater, the newest tires in the field, he is 16th. So completely unable to move forward based on tires. It seems like track position is everything right now. Caution on the speedway. Caution is out. It's Damian Leininger.
And I had just looked at the interval between 1st and 2nd, and Massey had almost pulled out to, it was over 2.5, going up to 3 seconds.
Let's go see what happened in Damian Leininger, and I think I have an idea of what might have occurred, and I do not. Oddly enough, thought maybe Brandon Key got into him here, but it looks like Damian just got in a little bit hard and looped it. Oh, and right there it catches the inside guardrail. And when he backs onto the track right there, that's what caused the caution. It's a little bit of damage for the 12 car, and a disappointing season continues for Damian Leininger. Everybody is on pit road.
Yep, Massey coming, Lutz coming.
Lutz is going to see what kind of damage he has for the first time today. I don't think he's been on pit road since he acquired that damage.
Was Johnny a lap down?
No, Johnny is the race leader currently. Johnny Thomas.
Okay, I was going to say.
He took the lead there, so he will get that bonus point for leading the lap. We'll see if Johnny wants to stay out and try to hold on to the lead.
Don't think he's going to.
He's staying out for now. He and Josh Adams. So Adams was playing that Daytona strategy that we kind of mentioned earlier, where he hung off the back of the pack, ran really, really slow, picked it up when he needed to, and now he's able to stay out and get into second with, I mean, the tires say they're 20 laps old, but I feel like Josh Adams has very fresh rubber for having 24-lap-old tires. He was not pushing whatsoever.
Yeah, and Johnny's tires have less than 50 laps on them, so he's in a pretty good position as well.
Yeah, so and then Nick Massey will be third, and then it is Nick Indelicato, Chris Wright, Dylan Thomas, Tate Lytle, Jared Mogard. In fact, I think we can just do that right there and show you the top 10 as they run. Johnny Thomas is your race leader. That is not incorrect. He did stay out. Josh Adams did as well. Quick look down there, and looky there, Ryan Lutz and Ethan Burrell right next to each other on this restart. How about that? Lutz did pick up 6 points. I think that was their entire gap between each other.
They always seem to find each other, don't they?
Mm-hmm. We'll have to see what kind of speed the 37 is working with. I think he's been involved in a little bit more than Ryan Lutz has tonight. Lutz a slow pit stop if he's down here with, I think he was actually fixing up some of that damage that he had accrued earlier in the race. So Lutz kind of stayed on pit road a little longer. Looks like his pit stop was about 11 seconds longer than everyone else, or 15 seconds longer than everyone else's, and 11 longer than Burrell's. He was fixing damage. So man, 3 of those top 4 from early in the race, Lutz, Burrell, and Leininger, all have suffered a number of incidents and are running now in 19th, 20th, and 21st. Up front, though, Johnny Thomas is going to lead us to the green. And there he goes. 83 car out in front and with a great restart.
David, he might want you to like capture and save that audio now that he's winning the race and led us to the green flag.
Johnny's hoping that iRacing installs a rain shower creator here in the next 2 laps because Nick Indelicato is coming, and with very fresh tires, Johnny does lead a lap under green. How long can this 83 car hold off the 0-1? Not long. Nick Indelicato by quickly. Johnny gonna fight him.
I feel like Johnny's one of the guys that will give up a fight, but he knows that the guys are faster behind him and not going to hold him up too much.
Johnny's strategy here is to hope that we get a couple of quick cautions, and then he can come grab a set of tires where it'll be an advantage. For now, though, it's all Nick and Delicato. And that may be the move of the race, because we've got a car with fresh rubber out there. He might not need to pit again. Why not just stay out if you're Nick and Delicato and run it until it's over.
Caution.
I believe it's Jeff Green around. And just like that, Johnny Thomas gets the assistance he was maybe looking for. We'd have to see. Emily, have you received any information before we send you down there again?
Not yet, but I do want to say that earlier when I talked to Johnny, he seemed very optimistic about his team. He thought he was doing well and said his strategy is just to kind of stay out in front, obviously. But he quickly tossed it over to a couple other guys to have them chat. So wonder how he is doing now, but I'm happy to jump back down. Let's see, where should I go on this one? I feel like everyone's involved in everything.
Well, you could go see Nick and Delicato. He is now the race leader. Might be a good one to go for. Johnny Thomas is second. Josh Adams does keep third after that restart. Nick Massey unable to really make up any ground, and he'll restart fourth this time through. Checking on the Ryan Lutz, Ethan Burrell battle. They are 13th and 14th, and Burrell is ahead of Lutz. Absolutely amazing. Ethan Burrell never. The reason I keep my eye on Ethan Burrell is that he has done this time and time again, where he falls to the back, and we're like, it's over. The points are going to shift. It's going to be a huge moment. Ethan Burrell just battles back, drives a clean race, gets himself back into the thick of things, and now here he is, 13th, knocking on a top 10. Trying to, finish as well as he can. I mean, it'll be like he ran there the whole race, even though he's been coming back for 100 laps.
That's the third or fourth time in a row he's done that. I mean, excluding the All-Star race.
Yeah, and he wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Good comeback story right here. 16th place, Dallas Myhand. First car to spin out, went a lap down. He has rebounded nicely to 16th. Was involved there. He was the middle car in that three-wide sandwich with Jeff Green, but luckily for my hand, I don't think the damage is going to change the way that car is running too much. Looking up through the field, I think everyone else in front of them has kept it straight at one time or another, with the exception of Ethan Burrell and Damian Leininger there in 15th. So another good comeback story in the works for Damian.
Hey guys, just got done talking with Nick and Delicato. Told him he was the race leader, and that seemed to surprise him. He was not aware of that, apparently. But he said his strategy here on out was just to stay out of trouble. He said he's not that good on this track, so he was a little surprised that he's doing so well. But he said there's a lot of race left. It's going to be a lot of give and take between everybody. And he also said that his enemy out there is Colin Fambrough, so I don't know what the backstory is on that. But I don't know if he was just being a little sarcastic or not, but it sounds like he is happy where he's at, but also knows that there's a lot of laps we have left to go here.
He just got a huge restart to put a ton of distance on Josh Adams. Great way to start this one for Nick and Delicato. Colin Fambrough, actually, might need to cover him now that we mention it. Colin was involved in a wreck earlier in the race. I think they got into it back at North Wilkesboro.
Oh, no, it's not going to be a Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano situation.
Yeah, I don't think so. Remember, they've gotten into it a couple of times before between Delicato and Fambrough. I think as Clark spins it off. Yep, Clark spins it. Will the caution come out there? It does. Josh Clark around, and if you're in the back, it just seems like you get piled up into all these wrecks. Scott Crump into another one. I feel like he's been involved in everything tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to go back and kind of tally the two. Who's had more, Burrell or Clark?
We'll go on board with Burrell after this, but man, here comes Clark, bounces it off of Tate Lytle's door, and right in front of Ethan Burrell. Burrell goes through it okay, I think.
Or I meant Crump or Burrell, not Clark
right.
there. But yeah, both of them in the middle of it here tonight.
He has been in the crazy stuff all night long. And get the cockpit shot for Ethan Burrell with Josh Clark going spinning from right in front of him. That's his teammate too. So you see the bumps, and look at that job by Ethan Burrell. He ends up kind of bumping into him, but I don't think that's going to affect the 37 car any more than not having a rear bumper is, anyway.
Oh, and Clark had already lost it at that point, so it's not like Burrell caused him to spin out. That
No,
car
not
was
at
not
all.
being saved from where Clark was already.
Not at all. And Josh Clark's had a good season and a good run tonight. Fairly clean is that 28 car, and I think he'll be okay. You know, here's Colin Fambro. We saw that car go hard into the outside wall. You can just see all of the body damage that is currently plaguing it. It's a Landon Castle throwback, I believe. Might be to Dale Jr. running that 5 car. It's the 2008 5 car for Junior Motorsports. You can't even really hardly see it anymore because Fambro's torn all the body off of it, but he is on the lead lap running 22nd. Doing a fine job. We're nursing that wounded car around to a good finish. As they pace around, I'm trying to think if we haven't talked about anybody in this top group. You know, we haven't really been on Tate Lytle too much today, honestly. We haven't mentioned it. He's one of those guys who's been around just about every wreck, but somehow has found the nose of that 56 car quite clean. He has been door slammed like 3 different times by someone coming off the corner who has immediately spun to the inside. They line him up there through the rest of it. That is, by the way, an old Dale Earnhardt throwback that Tate Lytle is running. I believe it's like a 1970s car. We'll have to have Tate let us know if there's any further significance. I saw the picture of it, but I don't know where it's from. But I know Dale Earnhardt was the driver, so that's what Tate's running. Back up front, Nick Indelicato had a great restart last time. Let's see if he can get another good one in the Mark Martin throwback. Driving right there next to Darrell Waltrip and Johnny Sauter / Jamie McMurray. Get some great ones looking up here. Some great looking cars.
Nick Massey's had some trouble on these restarts trying to get through the pack. He's been stuck back there in the 5th position.
You know, we heard the report from Emily. The outside line seems to be the place to be. Massey's been on the inside line every restart. And Delicato goes and is gone again. Another great restart for the 01. And the battle snarls on behind.
Dylan Thomas and Johnny Thomas doing battle for 3rd and 4th.
Dylan wins that one. He's the better Thomas for now. Johnny, though, able to hold strong on the outside lane. Ooh, man, almost bounces it off the wall. Johnny, one of the few clean cars out there. That car really hasn't been involved in anything.
Massey going to get by for the 4th spot, and here comes Mogard for the 5th spot.
So Nick Massey now through to 4th and in a spot where if we get a caution, he'll be able to restart right behind the leader.
Ooh, Mogard slid up right in front of Johnny and got a little loose, almost lost it coming out of the corner.
Yep, Johnny's going to keep stacking up the field a little bit here. Remember, his tires are 60 laps old. Everyone else here has about 20 lap old tires. Matthew Weeks trying to get up underneath him. The SMRI number 11 looking very good. Another one of those cars, throwbacks, that just looks great. Weeks is going to get the run there, and I think he's going to follow it through. 3 wide. Ryan Lutz, Brandon Key, Thomas Sherman. Everybody stays okay. All this behind Weeks and Thomas. And Weeks finally going to clear Thomas, I think, right here. Wow, Ryan Lutz sideways. And right in front of Ethan Burrell. Really, really big battle here. I mean, this is thrilling stuff. These guys are really leaning on each other, and You know, it just goes to show you that even though they've had a number of cautions in this race, they are not taking it easy at all. Johnny might have waited one caution too long to pit.
Yeah, he's moving back in a hurry. Here comes Lutz to the inside now.
Ryan Lutz into the top 10 once again. Ethan Burrell not able to get around Johnny. He's kind of held up now, and now that opens the door for Lutz's teammate Damian Leininger to slide underneath Ethan Burrell. So that kind of traps Ethan Burrell in and lets Ryan Lutz get away. That, for now, is all Ethan Burrell wants to see is, or Ryan Lutz wants to see, rather, is that 37 car getting out of his mirror. Just nowhere to go right now for that Ethan Burrell car. This battle is very, very strong as Dylan Thomas and Josh Adams and Nick Massey are all over each other for second up here.
Closing in on 50 to go here in this one.
And just as much as you have a lot of time left, there's not a whole lot of time in 50 laps at a half-mile short track. It's only about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes under green flag conditions. I assure you we won't have that all under green flag conditions.
Thomas and Adams make some contact, but just like we saw with Massey and Delicato checking out here.
It seems like whoever has the lead in that clean air just is able to get such a good run through the corner. They're not bogged down by anyone around them. It seems like whoever's on the outside can just pin the driver on the bottom. Adams does everything he can, but he is going to give it up to Dylan Thomas. So Thomas through to second. Massey trying to follow him by Adams. And he'll get it.
See if Thomas can now run down in Delicato.
Bogard to the top side. Wondering if Wright would jump to the inside, but Wright was kind of following his tire tracks. Really cool looking at all these throwback cars running under the lights at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Really hope they can actually get a NASCAR race out here. This is a fantastic track. I've been there. It is really cool. Feels like you just plop right down into the 1980s when you get in and sit down. Battle is here. Everyone's single file, but rest assured they are beating and banging as much as they can. As Nick Massey to the inside of Dylan Thomas, trying for second spot.
Lead almost 3.5 seconds now between Thomas and Massey, and while these two continue to do battle, it's only going to open up that gap even more for Delicato.
Nick and Delicato almost won the All-Star race last week. He gave it everything he had. Final lap, bounced it off the fence, trying to get around Ryan Lutz. This week, the race seemingly has come right to him.
Well, there's one car that he doesn't want to see take over that second position, and that is Nick Massey. And Massey doing his best, working this low line, trying to get around Dylan Thomas. And give up and let Thomas have the spot back for the time being.
What a job defending by Dylan Thomas. That was incredible. Defending off that second spot, able to keep the momentum in that high lane without bouncing it off the wall, like he just about did once he cleared Massey exiting 4. You just have to have such a short memory at these short tracks. You just have to move on to the next lap, move on to the next corner. Made a mistake, who cares? Keep going. Massey unable to get by. The battle is back here for 6th, Lytle and Wright. Ooh, Tate Lytle a little sideways there, exiting turn 2. Oh, there goes Thomas Sherman. No. He saved it. What a save by Thomas Sherman. That's going to cost Ethan Burrell a couple of spots. He checked up for the wreck. Real quick, we'll head through to get the replay, and here you go. I'll let you be the judge at home. Battle now for 6th after that incident. Chris Wright, Tate Lytle going after each other once again. And Tate wins that battle. somewhat singled out here, and Ryan Lutz running 10th. All this to end that ends up getting Cameron Rich into 12th. He has had a fairly miserable day. Got caught up in that Chuck Sweeting incident early in the race, and that 47 car's been pretty heavily damaged. Right up here with Brandon Key. Key has been outside the top 10 right here in about 11th, 12th all day long, running quite well. Here's the battle. Second spot, 4 seconds behind race leader Nick Indelicato. Indelicato at the line now. These two now at the line. That's the gap that Nick Massey would have to overcome in 40 laps. Assuming there's no caution, Massey is finally by.
All right, here we go. Let's see if he can do it. 4 seconds.
Right there's the leader at the line. And now they're at the line. So long way up to this car right here, Nick Indelicato. The 01 car throwing back to Mark Martin from the 2007 Daytona 500. A race that Mark did not win. He came very, very close to winning. Finished second by, what, a hundredth of a second or something to Kevin Harvick.
Was it 1/1000th?
It wasn't 1/1000. That's pretty tight. I think it was a hundredth of a second. It was really close to Kevin Harvick. And if you're wondering what that Kevin Harvick car looks like, well, here it is. Matthew Bayuk running it. Battling back here for 21st place with Kyle Hanshaw. And Bayuk just about spins it out, exiting 2. Quick update on the oldest tires in the field. Johnny Thomas has fallen to 19th. He is 13 seconds off of the race leader, and the race leader is only 18 seconds to 20 seconds around this track right now. So Johnny kind of on the way to going a lap down.
0.02 of a second was the difference.
There you go. Yep, 200ths of a very, very narrow gap. I've been watching Nick Massey. He is eating into the lead of Nick Indelicato fairly substantially. 2 to 3 of a second per lap. He is faster. Massey running 19.8s. Nick Indelicato running 19.98s. So almost 2 tenths of a second a lap between the two of them. Though with 3 full seconds between them, it's going to take Massey quite a while to get there. At that time by another 1/10.5 cut out by this 48 car. Looking very strong right now. Well, we finally sorted some stuff out, but not everything is sorted. Leininger and this group got through Jared Mogard. Mogard now under fire from Ryan Lutz, and that has stacked up this back end of the field. Key right on Lutz's back bumper now. Cameron Rich up high, and that opens the door for Ethan Burrell as Rich goes sideways right in front of Ethan. Another near incident Ethan's going to have to miss. Ethan goes sideways.
David, that gap is closing, and it's closing in a hurry.
Nick Massey has really put some steamers together here. And I think that what is not helping Nick Indelicato is he is in lap traffic, and he is in it deep.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier, is that might have been the biggest thing for Massey to close in, but Massey is just now starting to enter that lap traffic. So we'll see how the gap plays out here once Massey gets into it and has to start dealing with the same cars that Indelicato is. And sometimes, you know, it is beneficial for the second person because they know the leader is coming through, but there's such a gap that Massey's probably going to have the same battle that Indelicato has right now.
At that time by Indelicato and Massey lost about 1/10 of a second to Indelicato because he was deep in that traffic. We'll see what he loses this time by, or if he loses anything at all. He lost another 1/10 that time by. So Indelicato is able to pull away a little bit when Massey is deep in this traffic, but Massey gained a full second when Indelicato got into the traffic.
Well, Indelicato's got 2 more cars, and then he's going to have a little bit of a clear track ahead of him.
And his teammate ahead of him there.
Massey's still a little ways back. So
This is Johnny Thomas. What a horrendous result for the strategy of the poor 83 car. He was up in the lead a little bit ago, now fighting for his life just to stay on the lead lap. Leader will cut to the middle, try to get around both Johnny and Scott Crump. Crump kind of comes up in front of the leader. And Delicato jumps to the inside on Crump now, and he'll try to take it on the inside. Crump racing the leader awfully hard. All this, look at the gap there. It is now hardly down to anything as Scott Crump playing the role of Ryan Newman and holding up Nick and Delicato. And Delicato will finally get to clear racetrack once he clears Scott Crump's damaged car. Right there. I believe he's finally got him. But now Massey is just a 0.8 of a second behind.
and the big thing for Nick Massey is he's now clearly got that 0-1 car in sight, which gives you that little bit more edge to go after him, and a little bit more adrenaline to go get the race lead.
Now Delicato is going to be able to gap him just a little bit here, and we'll see if Scott Crump runs Massey the same as he ran in Delicato. And Delicato's going to get Johnny right here. Obviously not still able to run the line he wants, the speed he wants, and odds are they ran flat that time. Massey didn't gain anything on Delicato.
25 to go.
Here it is now. Crump was the one that was difficult for Delicato to pass. Can Massey get through Crump easier than Delicato did? If so, yep, good run here. Crump gives it up a lot easier than he did with Delicato anyway. Ran up to the top of the track. Why didn't he do that the first time? Battle was for third. It still is. Dylan Thomas, Tate Lytle, and I think Tate's on the outside and going around him. Yep, move Tate into third. Dylan back to fourth. A good run for Dylan, though. Didn't make my pick look too dumb. And there's the pass for third. Back up front. That's the gap. They are now nose to tail. 7.5, 3/4 of a second. The difference between Nick and Delicato and Nick Massey. Kyle Hanshaw, this car here. 40 is 19th on the grid. Delicato trying to lap. Big gain there for Massey in that corner. 4/10 through that lap, and now Massey is there. About to have a battle for the lead.
Gonna have 20 to go this time. Here comes Massey to the inside. He's gonna make the move. And Massey back to the race lead. We'll see if Delicato can make a crossover move. He got loose coming out of turn 4.
Tried everything he could there, but it was just too little too late for Delicato. Massey ran him down and has gotten into the lead.
Now he's gonna look to set sail and check out. But Delicato, I mean, if they really want to play the game, his teammate's next up. He could cause a little trouble for Massey.
Yeah, I think the thing that hurt Delicato the most right there was Scott Crump, without question. I think without that, he's quite easily going to hold off Massey up until maybe lap 190. But, I mean, he lost a full 1.5 seconds trying to get around that 51 car. I mean, the 51 is still hounding him.
Yeah, Crump not giving up. He's trying to work his way back up here to get his lap back.
I mean, Crump's 10 laps down. He might be, if Jordan Owens were to drop out of the race, he'd be able to pass for 27th. He's not racing for anything. Making life very difficult for the race leaders. Quick update on our championship leaders. They are nose to tail, running 10th and 11th. Ethan Burrell's going to lose, if it stays this way, Ethan Burrell's going to lose 7 points to Ryan Lutz. That might be enough to turn the points lead over to Lutz. They were very close entering this race. But the fact that Ethan Burrell managed to turn this into a points neutral day at worst, very, very good for our current points leader, though he may not be after this race.
Isn't it just crazy, though? Up here in the top 5 once again through all of that. I don't know my time.
Top 10.
So. Yeah, 10.
Ethan's 11th right now. He might not get a top 10 out of this race, but he will have come darn close to really making it all up. Trying to check for a battle on track here because everyone is kind of spread out nicely and chasing Nick Massey. Massey back in front and immediately has pulled out a second and a half on Indelicato.
Bayuk just slammed the wall hard right in front of Massey, but there was enough gap, and that allowed Massey to get by Bayuk very easily.
Yep, no strategies there from the teammate of the 01 car. As he lets Nick Massey go, now there's a car between. 18th place is 1 lap down. That was Bayuk. And this race going completely green. Not what I would have expected. The way we were going, it looked like we were on pace for record-setting numbers of cautions there for a little bit. Everyone has really calmed down, spread out, running great races now. This is the closest battle on track. As Leininger slides it, he saves it. Oh my! I thought Damien was going to ruin the green flag run right there. What a save. 10 laps to go. So here comes Weeks on right. Now he thinks better of it. And these two have had run-ins before at short tracks, no less.
10 to go this time by for Nick Massey. Pulled out by almost 2 seconds over Indelicato here in this one.
We haven't talked to Nick Massey as a race winner yet this season. We've only talked to him as the defending champion as a runner-up finisher. And a third-place driver. Massey trying to amend that and pick up his first win here tonight at Nashville. Back to the closest battle on track. You can see just how much gap that Massey has back to these guys. Right, really very protective of the bottom right now. Just trying to keep it so that Weeks doesn't root him out of the way. And Brandon Key going after Damian Leininger for 8th. We saw Damian nearly spin it earlier in the run. Has kept us cool and has kept 8th spot. That would be a much needed top 10 finish for Damian Leininger. He was 40th in points or something before tonight, 37th in points. And yeah, this 8th place run sorely needed. And our points leaders. Here's Ryan Lutz. He may take over the points lead tonight, but it won't be by very much because there's his competition right behind him. Now, Burrell can try to make up the 2.5 to Ryan Lutz here in the last couple of laps. Don't know he'll be able to do it. 5 laps to go this time. It's all that car right there, Nick Massey. Honoring Jimmy Johnson by putting a whooping on the field.
Well, Alex Bowman did it last night in real life racing in the 48 car, putting on a dominating performance. And Jimmy Johnson's old ride, and now Nick Massey here on Throwback Weekend.
Oh, no!
Looking to do the same caution flag on the racetrack.
Who was it? Trying to see who's got no speed. No, it's Jordan Owens. I know Jordan didn't do that by himself. We'll have to take a look at the replay here. Oh, maybe he did. Just exiting turn 4. It's car 6 laps down. Just loses it. And just like that, everything changes completely. Oh, man.
Nick Massey's heart just sunk.
Well, we'll see. And there it is. Everyone behind him coming down pit road. Massey stays out and Indelicato down. Tate will stay out. Dillon stays out. So Indelicato the only one actually to come down pit road.
Well,
is right coming? Right's coming.
With a couple of cars staying out behind him, and it's going to be a green-white checkered situation, I think those cars that stayed out probably will be okay to fight for 3 laps.
So 3 cars from the lead lap come down. Indelicato, Wright, Mogard.
Well, they had lapped into the top 15.
Yep.
So
So yeah,
Still going to put him
Cameron,
pretty far.
Go ahead.
Pretty far back with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, I don't know that the pitting is going to be the right strategy here, and Nick Massey just ignoring pit road entirely, and I do like that call specifically. Stay out. If you've got the race lead, you determine what the outcome of this race is going to be. You go for it. You know, you get that. You're going to get that jump. It's going to be up to everyone behind you to make that decision that they're going to go down pit road and get tires to be able to run you down. And since not everybody did, that jump early on is going to be all the more important because those guys won't have the grip to come through. All you need is the lead, too, because there could be another caution right away. Nick Massey going to have to perform one final great restart in order to capture this one. And all that and all the pit stops mean Ethan Burrell and Ryan Lutz are now both in the top 10. This is risky for Ethan Burrell, too. He could lose some spots. He and Ryan Lutz going to be on very old tires. 85 lap old tires. Josh Adams stayed out. His tires are over 100 laps old. Adams has only pitted one time this race.
Well, right now it's worked out for him.
Yep, sure has, though you wonder how much grip those tires are going to have once we get into this final restart. Quick summary, just 11 cautions. There at halfway, it looked like we were going to go way past that. This is going to be an overtime restart. Green, white, checkered. And it'll be Nick Massey on the top, Tate Lytle on the bottom. Old tires until Nick and Delicato in 11th. How far up will the 01 be able to get with those new tires? Ryan Lutz couldn't climb up through the field earlier. It's going to be down to Nick Massey and Nick Tate Lytle, I think. Green flag out for the final restart. Lytle spins the tires, that stacks up the inside, and Massey gets a huge jump. And there goes Dylan Thomas.
He's going to hang on to it, though.
He saved it. There goes Weeks.
They're wrecking. Big wreck in the back.
And Ethan Burrell is in it and around. That means, I believe, Nick Massey's going to win this race. Not sure if we have another green, white, checkered or not. I think we do.
Yep, they're going to reset the laps here.
So, that is somewhat not surprising at all, is that they wrecked. And Massey able to hold the lead out front. Adams second now, Lytle third. And it started when Lytle got stacked up there for sure. So let's swing back and take a quick replay of it. I think it's going to be Matthew Weeks, actually, that we want to watch here. Weeks gets stacked up, and there goes Brandon Key to the inside of Weeks. Weeks got into Thomas. Thomas comes up and gets Weeks. Look at that. And then right into Ethan Burrell. Nowhere to go. Wright hit the wall hard. Sherman hit the wall hard. Rich hit the wall hard. Ethan's going to stay on the lead lap through this. So he's going to be able to come get some tires and see if he can't make up a little ground. Disappointing restart there for poor Ethan Burrell. Nowhere to go. We've ridden on board with him through a bunch of these. Let's ride with one more. No, where is he supposed to go? Luckily for him, I don't know that the damage is all that severe on that 37 car. Get one more look at this big wreck, see what happened to Cameron Rich, rather. Delicato's the one who jumped to the inside. And it's like that car is going to be involved in the wreck as well.
I was trying to look real quick, David. I don't see anything about number of restart or green white checkered restarts. So guess we'll just go with it and see what happens.
I guess so. Ethan Burrell here is going to have to get a wave around, so he won't be able to fix any of that damage on this caution because I think that the pace truck put him a lap down. But luckily, he didn't get passed by the leader. Yeah, if we've got unlimited green white checkers, this thing could keep on happening because we still have some guys back here with fresh tires. We have Chris Wright, who did pick up some damage. Jared Mogard, James Heater, Jeff Green, all with tires. They're all going to be stacked up mid-pack, right the nearest to the front of those. Massey, the race leader, he tried to get the good restart last time, but they wadded him up behind.
David, I don't know if you've mentioned this and I just haven't paid attention or wasn't listening, but is Leininger running a Carl Edwards throwback?
Yeah, I got it right at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
I think even in qualifying I mentioned it. And he's doing a Carl Edwards 2008. Green flag. Leininger will try to get second from Josh Adams. And I think he's going to make it. What a run to the front by Damian Leininger in these last couple of restarts.
Adams
3 wide
underneath.
behind. They're all chasing Nick Massey. Here's the battle. Jared Mogard has shot through the field.
White flag. We're racing back to the stripe this time.
He crashed. Heater upside down. That's not good for James Heater. Ethan Burrell slides through. Thomas Sherman crashes again. They're all chasing Tate Lytle. The battles for second between Leininger and Adams.
Staying green coming out of turn 4, and he will finally pay it off.
Oh, they
Nick
all
Massey
spun.
pick up the win.
And Leininger gets second out of all that. That was something right there. This race ending in only the way it could. Ethan Burrell comes home with a 13th place run. Leininger does take second from Adams at the stripe. Nick Massey, the race winner. Wow, what a finish. Watch this. Whole field gassed it up, exiting the turn and completely wiped out. We got cars flipping over, smashing into each other. Wow. Ethan Burrell, after all that, is going to come home 13th. But it's all Nick Massey. 48 car dominated this race. He led a massive amount of crud. Where are the laps led on this thing? Well, he led a lot of laps and wins this race going away. He drove down Nick Indelicato under green, passed him for the win, and then was able to manage those restarts at the end. There's your top 10. Great run for Damian Leininger. Finally, a good, deserved run for him. Chris Wright into the top 5. Tate Lytle retains that top 5 run. Indelicato comes home 8th. Could have won it. Needed about 20 less laps. Trying to see if we can't get Nick Massey into the booth. And put him in the waiting room. We'll put Damien in the waiting room. All right, let me go ahead and... Oh, Adams moved himself. Excellent. Thank you, buddy. All right, Emily, we'll send it down to you for Josh Adams. Right now.
Hey, Josh, do you have a copy?
I do.
Perfect. Well, just for starters, curious on your thoughts on how the race went for you tonight.
I only changed tires once. That was interesting. I had a I had pretty good pace on that last long run, considering I had like almost 30 lap older tires than everybody. I was I was hoping for a caution, but not that late. Yeah, it worked out. I got third and pretty fashionable style there at the end.
Yeah, my next question for you was going to be about the tire situation. Is that something that you kind of had in mind starting out for a strategy, or were you just kind of just worked out that way? You only had to pit once.
It worked out that way. The way we had tires, we had 4 sets in the pits, 200 lap race. You figure you take a set every 50 laps, and the track position and the cautions just never like worked out that way for me personally. So I ended up staying out for a long time on tires and like 90 some laps, I think, and it was still pretty good though.
Yeah. Would you say that there was maybe like a turning point in this race for you tonight?
I think just that last long run, at caution, I was able to finally get tires, and then we ran like 90 laps to the end pretty much, and I was just able to settle in and in my spot there in 5th, and I was going to be content running for that, but P3 is pretty good too.
I felt like there were a lot of cautions tonight kind of happening all over the track. Were you involved or close to any of those tonight?
My car was in pretty much pristine shape until I jacked it up at the checkered flag. So I didn't get involved in any of those, and then I killed the car myself at the end.
Well, finishing in 3rd, I think, is a pretty good deal. So before we let you go, are there any shout outs that you would like to give tonight?
Just the league, Johnny, you guys, Belly Up TV, for putting these on. Like you said, we had a bunch of cautions there in the middle, but I think the way we ended it was pretty solid with that long run. So, my team, RRM, just all the drivers tonight, we had that bad run of cautions, but it was a really good end to the race.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the time, Josh, and congrats on coming in 3rd tonight.
Thank you. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, that's Josh Adams, our 3rd place driver there, and now we'll bring in our 2nd place runner, Damian Leininger, in that thrilling finish to the end.
Hey, Damien, do you have a copy?
Hey guys.
All right. Well, it's nice to chat with you in this top 3 situation rather than just jumping down in the chats after a caution that your car's been involved in. So why do you think you were so successful at this race tonight?
Short track. I love short tracks. I knew I was going to have one of the better cars coming here, and ran up front for a while and got, we pitted on that first caution, thought more people were going to come, and just kind of come back through the field and then put myself on the inside wall again. So, being able to recover to a second is pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, let's talk about those last few laps there with the restarts and the couple cautions that happened. What did you kind of see out there? What was your kind of strategy those last few laps to stay out of all that?
Well, the first caution, or the first green-white checkered per se we had, they spun the tires a lot, and I got a better launch on the top side. The top side here gets a better launch than the bottom for some reason. So I spun the tires a little bit, but the whole inside line checked up quite a bit, and that allowed me to make up a couple spots going into turn 1, and then we got that caution right away. And luckily, I was still in 4th, so that allowed me to get the better jump on the next green-white checkered. And when these short tracks, green-white checkers, I mean, the last couple laps, it's going to be mayhem every time. It's so close racing, and everybody's going for every little inch they can take, and nobody's wanting to give any room. So, you just got to kind of be a little bit of luck at those situations, but also, know where to put your car at.
It did seem like everyone was kind of like, the guys had mentioned there was going to be a lot of kind of like beating and banging going on. And did it feel like that to you driving, that it was kind of a little bit trickier situation for this track?
It wasn't really that much beating and banging. It was really weird. So the setup made it to where we couldn't really go into 4th gear. We had to run in 3rd gear, which really, and it was hitting the rev limiter and the chip at the end of the straightaway. So you couldn't really dive it off into the corner any deeper than the guy in front of you. That really stopped some of the beating and banging, at least, and allowed guys to, once the run kind of went, we spread out a little bit. It allowed everybody to sort of get a one-line race, and there wasn't really much passing opportunities unless you can really get a good run off of the corner and get down below somebody.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that insight. Before we let you go, are there any shout outs you would like to give tonight?
Yeah, the Batflip podcast. That's my podcast. You can find on Apple and Spotify. You guys for coming on board my car this year. Talked to Mike and Billy at Sports TV and brought them over for sponsorship this year. Apex Sim, all the guys. Dylan had an amazing run tonight before incidents happened on that first green white checkered. Lutzy for making his his comeback through the field after getting in one of those wrecks and losing a front end, and Goody, he's always fun to have around and it keeps the room very light. So shout out to all the Apex Sim Racing guys, and just thank you guys for broadcasting this. Thanks Johnny for putting this on and giving us a place to come tear up some virtual race cars.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the time, Damien, and congrats on coming in second tonight.
All right, thanks guys.
Is Damian Langer. And now we'll bring in race winner Nick Massey.
Hey, Nick, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right. Well, first win of the season for you. What was the difference tonight?
Mostly luck, honestly. In the car, I had some speed for sure, but on tracks like this, it's just all about staying out of trouble and pitting at the right time and just kind of making your way through the mayhem.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about those last few laps there where we had a couple cautions, a couple restarts. What was your kind of thought process on that? Obviously staying out in front while some people decided to pit. Kind of take us through that.
Yeah, I think the caution came maybe like 10 laps ago or something around there. It's probably, I knew it was probably gonna be mixed strategy, but I just felt like if enough people stayed out with me, the tires weren't going to get back up to us and make the passes. So fortunately it worked out. We had a couple quick cautions and they weren't able to get back up there.
Did you have a specific strategy coming into this race tonight? And if so, did it change at all throughout the race?
I didn't really have a game plan coming in. We had a caution like right off. We had a little bit of a green flag run, caution lap 25, and I thought I was leading at the time, and I thought everybody's gonna come down and get tires, but it was kind of, there were 16 or 17 that stayed out and had to, make our way back up there through strategy and making passes and stuff like that. And then it was just kind of just staying out as long as I can and get the stage points, which worked out, or halfway points, and yeah, just trying to stay out of trouble for the most part, stay out of the pack in the back.
Well, the probably most important question I have for you tonight is how good does it feel to finally win one?
Such a relief. Like, I mean, I've put together some good runs. I've had some decent finishes, but it feels so good to just put the whole thing together and close it out.
Awesome.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, we're stoked for you. Before we let you go, are there any shout outs that you would like to give?
Yeah, just shout out to my teammates, Josh, Chris, Brandon. Shout out to Ryan Lutz, too, for doing this paint today. I didn't really have one coming into the throwback race, and he kind of threw it together for me. So I appreciate that. And yeah, just shout out to you guys, too, for putting on the broadcast. Hopefully it was kind of a show.
It was. Always entertaining. Well, thanks so much for the time, Nick, and congrats on the win tonight.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
You too.
And that was race winner Nick Massey. So let's get some final thoughts here, guys. What a crazy race from Nashville.
Yeah, definitely. I was not expecting it to go that way with all the cautions. But, I'm super happy to see Nick back in the win column. It's good to see Damien in there. And just, I thought it was a good race all around. Always great to talk to Josh. So I had a fun one tonight. I thought it was a good race.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been waiting on Massey to break through and finally pick up a win, which is huge. Good to see Damien get a top three. Really, all three guys that finished and that we talked to needed a good run like this tonight, and they picked it up. I was kind of glad to see it go green there for a majority of the second half of that race. Made it a little bit more interesting, but yeah, I think overall another good night here at ERSCA.
Yeah, and guys, the points are up, and the points gap between Ryan Lutz and Tate Lytle, 1 point. separating them, and Ryan Lutz, your new points leader for next week. And Ethan Burrell will be catching him. The gap back to Tate Lytle is over a race his amount of points. It is a big gap. Nick Massey now into 4th in points. The real loser today, though, was definitely Gerald Campbell and James Heater. Those guys falling to 6th and 8th in points, respectively, after kind of some abysmal nights. It's really down a 2-horse race for that regular season title between Ryan Lutz and Ethan Burrell. Those guys are really on rails right now. Even on a bad day, it seems, for Ethan Burrell, he's able to finish 13th. So
yeah, next week we will head to Charlotte.
Ooh. Charlotte's been changed a little bit on the iRacing setup, but the inside line's still dominant. So those guys are going to have to find a way to make passes. And last time they went to Charlotte, Matthew Weeks, Ryan Lutz have had a little run-in. So I'm interested to see how those guys handle up Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be slick. It's going to be fun. Hopefully we have another good race next week. I think that'll do it for us, though, for Belly Up Sports. ERSCA. I am David Westergreen, Dom Santina, Emily Harlan. We'll catch everybody next time.